Today, our learning target is to find where a character starts talking and then where they stop talking so that we can place quotation marks in the correct location. So remember, quotation marks go around what the character is saying. So dialogue, that is what the character says in a story when they're talking in that story. And dialogue is surrounded by quotation marks. Now, dialogue is important because it gives a voice to the character and it brings more life to the story. It can take away when there's too much telling and not enough talking in the story. So it shows things from the character's perspective. Dialogue tags have a few rules. They go before and after the word someone said, and they identify who is speaking. So they go before and after the word someone said. You have to make sure that if the words are coming out of a character's mouth, they are within quotation marks. Identify who is speaking. Quotation marks always tell you whether it's at the end, at the beginning, or in the middle, who is talking. So let's look at this one. This is an example of at the end quotation marks. It's kind of blurry. There are 3 ways to use quotation marks. Said Mr. Smith. That's my tag. Who talked? Mr. Smith. Here's my quotation marks. And then I always have a comma on the inside of my quotation marks. Let's look at another one. This is an example of at the beginning. Mr. Smith said, there's my tag, comma, quotation marks. There are 3 ways to use quotation marks. Period goes on the inside. So punctuation can go inside of the quotation marks. In the middle, we have quotation marks, my comma on the inside because it's not the end of the sentence. My tag, another comma, the rest of my sentence, quotation marks, and a period. So here's the part that might get a little tricky sometimes. If you look up here, you'll notice there's a period on the inside, a period on the inside, but right here, there's a comma on the inside. So a comma is used to separate the dialogue and the speaker. Up here, you can see that. But when there's a comma on the inside of the quotation marks, that means the story is not done, or the speaker is not done talking. If there's a period on the inside, like here, that means the speaker is done talking. You could put a period here when they're done talking. You could put an exclamation point, a question mark. That is what you put when they are done. If they're still talking, you keep the comma. So let's look. We're going to add these quotation marks. My brother asked, will you help me with this? So who's talking? Her brother. How did he asked? So I need a comma. Quotation marks. Will you help me with this? Quotation marks. This is what her brother said. So it's within quotation marks. Let's look at another one. The umpire yelled, safe. Who's talking? The umpire. He yelled, so I have to put a comma, quotation marks, safe. The student asked, may I sharpen my pencil? Who's talking? The student. And she asked, what did she ask? She said, may I sharpen my pencil? My sister said, you can play with me. Who's talking? Her sister. She said, I have to put a comma to separate it from the quotations. Quotation marks, you can play with me. There's my period because she's done talking. And I put another set of quotation marks. So what you're going to do, you have 3 sentences where I put the comma for you. You just have to figure out where the quotation marks go. And then your challenge. You have to put the comma and the quotation marks. So find who's talking, how they talked, then place your comma and quotation marks around what they said.